Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and drop a like on this video. I am trying to hit 100k subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, so your subscription will be much appreciated. Also drop a like on this video, it only takes 1 second and makes a massive difference. So today's video is going to be yet another of this week where I am just reacting to games that happened a few days previous to when the video is actually coming out. So the game that I'm reacting to today is Thunder versus the Lakers. This game happened on Tuesday. It is now, or sorry, not Tuesday, Thursday, and it is Saturday at the time of this recording, and this video is coming out sometime later this week, so it's probably been like a couple of days, maybe a week since this game actually happened. But this was a very big game. I didn't get to catch it at the time, but I ended up watching it like an hour before recording this. This game was big because the Thunder once again made a big comeback on the Lakers. And I think both times, if I'm not mistaken, the Lakers were without LeBron James. And where this becomes concerning is it's these games, and even not these games against better opponents that are why you traded for Russell Westbrook. The whole idea of the Westbrook trade, the whole justification is he's going to keep you afloat when your players are hurt, and then come playoff time, he's going to be an extra piece on top of those guys. But you're going to have the health, and you're going to be able to not worry about being the 8th seed when someone gets hurt. LeBron James missing a week, missed some games here and there, and now Russell Westbrook is the fill-in, and he can be the second guy to Anthony Davis, or this hypothetical hasn't happened yet, but say Anthony Davis gets hurt, and it's LeBron and Russell Westbrook, they can play off of each other there. You know, you get the idea. Russell Westbrook can fill in, and he can be good enough to lead them to wins to keep them afloat at the top of the conference. And in every case thus far of that being the situation, it's pretty much not gone very well. So the reason why you traded for Russell Westbrook, and the circumstances more so in his favor than ever, have not really gone in his favor. Now, they did start DeAndre Jordan once again, but as somebody who is very vehemently don't start DeAndre Jordan, it's worth mentioning he doesn't play that long. And this is kind of the conversation around like Russell Westbrook coming off of the bench, where I'm like, it doesn't really matter that much what the starting lineup is. It matters what the closing lineups are. It matters how many minutes someone is getting. I don't think DeAndre Jordan should be getting any minutes, so 14 is still too much. But Melo is getting 32 minutes a game, and that's because he's pretty much playing the 4 next to Anthony Davis for the majority of these games. And if it's not him, it's Dwight or Jordan getting in there. So it's not a matter of who's starting. A majority of the lineups that we're seeing with Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis out there have the proper spacing around them. It's still just not working to the extent that you would like them to, especially against a Thunder team that is not, well, I was going to say not good at defense, but that implies that they might be good at other things, and they're really not. So for them to lose this game, not only lose this game, but to blow a 19-point lead, not a good look. Now, I will say, up until about the 4th quarter of this game, I was of the feeling that this was a case of not, you know, sometimes, I think I said this about the Lakers-Rockets game from a few days ago, but sometimes a bad team plays good, and that doesn't mean that the good team played bad. Sometimes a bad team just is up to par with a good team. It happens occasionally. And that's what it felt like for the first 3 quarters and for a majority of the Thunder's comeback, where it wasn't even necessarily that the Lakers were making too many like obvious mistakes. There were a couple of times where they left shooters open. Second quarter, there were like 2 back-to-back Ty Jerome 3-pointers out of the corner, one of which, or maybe both of them, were out of the fast break, and it's like, guys, pick up the open shooter. This is fundamental shit here. But for the most part, game just felt like the Thunder are just simply playing great, and the Lakers are also playing fine. They should be stomping on this team, but, you know, they're playing fine. I can't get too critical. But then it comes to the 4th quarter, and things really start to fall apart. A lot of it, unfortunately, Russell Westbrook's fault, but I also have to point the finger a little bit at Anthony Davis for his lack of assertiveness. For the majority of this game, Anthony Davis was going off. I will say he was doing it in a fashion that annoys me, and my biggest gripe with Anthony Davis is how much he settles for mid-range shots, and today being guarded by Darius Bazley, who is significantly smaller than Anthony Davis. He had multiple instances of going to the mid-range game when it really wasn't all that appropriate. Bully the guy into the paint. You have the capacity to do that. I just stuttered on that word. But point is, Anthony Davis in the fourth quarter, I don't know what the scoring numbers are, but I know he was not what he was in the other quarters, especially the first half. He did rebound well. He got some assists. He played good defense because he's Anthony Davis and that's what he does, but a little disappointing there. And honestly, as the superstar on the floor and not Russell Westbrook, feel like he's dodging a little bit of blame there when Russell Westbrook actually had a not terrible game, all things considered. Now, he did have a bad fourth quarter performance, in particular in the last minute of the game. Awful turnover. He was trying to gather the ball clearly, first bringing the ball up high to throw off the defender, but he just threw it up with his right hand and it went sailing out of bounds. And then he took a three-pointer with the chance to tie in the last 5 seconds, and it's why are you taking that shot? That's the thing with Russell Westbrook is, why do you take that shot? Why do you take that shot? There's so many things that Russell Westbrook does well, and that's not one of them. And you'd think, how long has he been in the league now? Was it 2009, 2007? Somewhere in that ballpark. He's been in the league a long fucking time, well over a decade. He still hasn't learned that that's not his shot to take. That's ludicrous to me that he had not figured that out by now. He's made it a few times. The Denver Nuggets game winner stands out, but that's a drop in the bucket in comparison to the amount of times he's tried it. And it's how do you not know by now not to take that shot? And it's not just because the shot clock was expiring, because they'd had plenty of instances where they ran plays before. There was a three by Carmelo Anthony right before, where there wasn't that much time on the clock. And there was time to create a play that wasn't, let me take a pull-up three-pointer from 2 feet behind the line with a defender closing out on me to tie the game. Dumb shot, dumb turnover before, and that was just an utter collapse. And again, it felt like the Thunder were just playing better for a good stretch, but this fourth quarter, first of all, the terrible defense from the Lakers the whole game, but it really was bad in the fourth quarter. 35 points in the fourth quarter for OKC. It's just an ugly fucking game for the Lakers. It wasn't for them, a lot of it, but it got real ugly. Let me go ahead and talk about OKC's side of things, though. I will say the one thing that kind of weirded me out is that three-pointer from the logo, even though it's a big logo, so it's sometimes we go oh, that shot was from the logo, and it's that was 4 feet behind the three-point line, which is still good, but when I think logo shot, I think a little bit more than that. Some logos are just really fucking big, and they take up a lot of space on the court. There was one, I can't remember what the team's logo was, but there was some LeBron three, and they're holy shit, logo LeBron, and I swear to God, he was 3 feet behind the line, which is an impressive shot still, but that logo was big as shit. But that shot by Shea was still insane. That was actually 6 feet behind the line, if not more. But what was crazy about that shot, not in a good way, what was kind of annoying about that shot was that his team didn't really seem to care. He hit that shot and he was hyped, and Josh Giddy was smiling, and Pokuševski came up and gave him a high five, and everybody else was just kind of standing there. I feel like there's a culture of roster turnover, and this isn't really a team, this is a collection of assets, and that kind of bleeds over to the body language on the floor for OKC. This is not a camaraderie thing. They just had a great game against the Lakers and a great comeback, a second time now. Doesn't really seem like they really care about each other like that, because they kind of know they're disposable, and Sam Presti will trade them for a second-round pick in a heartbeat, which is kind of fucking depressing. But that said, I'm not going to harp too much on the negative things. Kenrich Williams, really good game from him. Couple of three-pointers. I mentioned him earlier. Ty Jerome with 3 for 8 from outside. 3 in the first half, 2 of which I believe were back-to-back or something similar to it. Aleksej Pokuševski played really bad in limited minutes. Mike Muscala scored 6 points in 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. I don't think he played all of his minutes in the fourth quarter. But he got an and one and a three-pointer in that run in the fourth quarter, which is great. Mike Muscala sucks, but he did good in that minute. Josh Giddy, great playmaking. struggle with his shot. There's still parts of his game that look a little bit awkward, but the guy clearly has a natural feel for the game, especially on the playmaking end of things. Derek Favors, solid double-double. Bazley, good offensive game. He is one of those players who's kind of disappointed me on this team. Not just this year, but especially last year, where I was like, hey, this is the year for Bazley to break out. Because he had that like 8-game stretch in the bubble where he was like an 18-point on good efficiency score. Hasn't happened yet. This game, good efficiency, played some not terrible defense on Anthony Davis. And then, of course, the standout is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The scoring droves from this guy were absolutely insane. 57% from 3, 52% for the game as a whole. Got to the free throw line a good amount, like 2 or 3 different really impressive Euro steps. Of the threes that he took, he of course hit that logo one. There was a couple of pull-ups. I think there was a side step. Like the 3-ball looked so good. Couple of mid-range shots, because that's like the signature Shai thing, is like those elbow mid-range shots, and just had control of the game and looked like the best player on the floor for a large percentage of this game, specifically more of the second half, because Anthony Davis looked like the best player in the game in the first half. But yeah, just a great comeback by them. Second time they do it. The only 2 wins that the Thunder have are comebacks against the Lakers. It's just fucking weird. And, you know, as I mentioned earlier, this is why you trade for Russell Westbrook, and then this is what happens. So for the one main reason you trade for Russ to be falling apart, that's concerning. And the Lakers are still a bit of a mess. It's just a matter of how long it will take them to sort out that mess, which I think they will, or if you're going to be more cynical, for them to ever sort out that mess. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this game. I'm sorry that they're coming like however many days post when it actually happened and it's now irrelevant, but whatever. But yeah, that was it. Goodbye.